last 7 months or so, I have been shoulders deep in learning and researching everything I possibly can about Tesla and Palantir. And you would have noticed, the more time that goes on, the more concentrated these two stocks become in my portfolio, the more of my portfolio they take up. There is a correlation between the more I learn and the more bullish I become. And it's not just me. There are so many people out there that are even more bullish and more concentrated in either one or both of these stocks in their portfolio. And there's people that have actually been able to retire early as millionaires from Tesla stock specifically. And it seems to be happening again with Palantir. People ask me a lot in my comments why I'm becoming more and more concentrated and less diversified as time goes on. And it's because of that. The more I learn about the utility of these companies, their competition, the expansions that are happening, the contracts that they're signing, and their future plans, the more I'm starting to sit and question why and how could I put my money anywhere else? And as I've gone on this journey of investing, my strategy of how I'm going to utilize the stock market in order to retire early has shifted. And I think that's completely natural as you learn more. Both of these companies, Palantir and Tesla, are quite literally changing industries. We have Tesla, who has already completely changed the automotive industry. They have made electric cars more affordable, more attractive. They perform better. They last longer. They have made more people buy EVs. And the sale of EVs and the amount of people switching is now at the highest point it's ever been. And that is primarily due to Tesla, honestly. They are market leading. And it doesn't just stop there. They are changing the solar business. They are changing the energy storage business. They're literally making full self-driving cars. So they are going to completely revolutionize the transportation industry. And it doesn't stop there either. We have the bot that will change the entire labor market. And it's really hard to fathom just how big all of that, but especially the bot, really could be. And then we have Palantir. Palantir are also changing industries, but in a completely different way. They are offering businesses and organizations a method to utilize and maintain their data way more efficiently. And that sounds quite boring and quite dry. But in this day and age where data is the language and more data is just what's happening, there is more and more data. Companies need the keyword there. They need a way to actually use that data and get through that data as best and as quickly and as efficiently as they possibly can. And Palantir is the solution for that. And with Palantir, they don't just offer their core products, but they also offer the ability to build on Foundry, one of their core offerings, for specific industries, like we saw when they released Skywise for the aviation industry. And it makes sense. Those companies that are able to completely change the world as we know it and rock industries are going to be the ones that see the success and see the reward. And this leads me on nicely to their total addressable market, which is absolutely huge for both of these companies. When I'm thinking about what positions I want in my portfolio, I really want ones that have a really far reach. I don't want ones that are limited in what impacts they can have and how many sales they can make. Because ultimately, I'm the investor in these companies and I want to be getting the best return that I possibly can. So TAM, is total addressable market, is really, really important. And let's just start with Palantir. It is quite literally industry agnostic, meaning the software that Palantir offer can be put into any industry. And this is already happening. Palantir's offerings are out there, helping in the defense sector, the energy sector, the healthcare sector, financials, and then specifically it's helping fight money laundering. It's doing so much already and it's not really limited. And especially given that Palantir are able to work with different companies in different industries to make their products work for them. And then when we think about Tesla, there's a few different things that we need to consider. But if you just take their core business, their EV business, then the total addressable market there is already ginormous on its own, because they are basically trying to, with other companies that produce EVs, of course, trying to replace all of the current combustion engine cars in order to shift the transportation industry to a more sustainable energy source. That is global. And although in North America specifically, they have already made a massive impact on that, and so many people already drive Teslas and EVs, it's not the case for the rest of the world necessarily. As time goes on, I can speak for Europe here, I am seeing more and more EVs and more Teslas on the road. So they have still got a market to grab there. And then when you step away from their core EV business and you extend slightly and think about the robo-taxi business that they're going to have in the future, the total addressable market there as well is big, because quite literally everyone worldwide needs transportation. And as ARK Invest have said, that might be like leader take most of the market. So because Tesla are so far ahead in their FSD capabilities and they have the ability to scale a fleet at large, this means that they are probably going to be the market leader there and take that market share. And then when you move on and think about Optimus, the humanoid robot, which we're going to discuss in a little bit more detail in just a second, it's really hard to sit and talk about Optimus without literally sitting here with a smile on my face, because the possibilities of Optimus are just ginormous, because a humanoid robot is going to go into the labor market and completely change it. Eventually, I see it being able to pretty much do any job a human does. And then on top of that, it can be in the labor market, but on top of that, it can also be in homes. And I don't really see how any companies out there won't want one if they can afford one. And also, homes are going to want one as well, because they're going to be super, super helpful. Thinking back to the total addressable market there, what is that? Like every human on the planet that can afford one. It blows my mind. These are some of the key reasons that I really believe that Tesla and Palantir, they're just where my money is best spent. It makes the most sense for me. And then we've got innovation and speed. The ability of a company to be able to get to its goal as quickly as possible, and to be willing to dynamically shift the path that it's taking in order to get there. Those companies that are not sticking to the status quo, they're doing things differently. They're overcoming problems in new and innovative ways. They're not sticking to procedures and processes just because they've been there in the past. And it's all well and good having the best ideas, but without the right direction, the right drive, and the right leadership, it's really hard for companies to achieve those goals. And if you just take the Tesla bot Optimus, back in 2021 when it was first announced, it was quite literally an idea on a screen. Then in 2022, I think when we had the robot come out on stage, it couldn't even really walk. Now we're in October, just in October 23, and the last update that we had, the video that we saw, was absolutely incredible. It's now able to show really fine, precise motor skills. It's able to sort blocks by color while someone else is changing them and pick them up and control different things. It's come a very, very long way very quickly. That fast innovation and that fast movement towards goals is exactly how the companies will get to where they need to be as quickly as possible. And of course, that rewards the shareholders. And then I like to consider the competition that these have. And I like to regularly challenge myself and look for different competitors that they have. But I always seem to come to the same conclusion. And that is that there aren't really many serious competitors in different industries for these companies. So if you just think about Tesla vehicles, there are loads and loads of companies, new companies, legacy automotive companies that are making really, really attractive EVs, EVs that people want to buy. But the problem is, as an investor, not as a consumer, these other companies aren't really making very much money on their EVs. They're not really scaling them at large. They are producing a fraction of what Tesla are producing. They're not able to price cut as quickly and as dynamically as Tesla are. And then we obviously have the strikes that are happening that are causing problems for many companies. We do have some competitors to Tesla's EV business. BYD in China is doing really well, but by large, there isn't that many. And then Tesla have all their other areas of the business as well that BYD just aren't even trying to compete with. And the reason that Tesla is so far ahead of competition is, well, there are many reasons, but one of the core reasons that's quite dry and quite boring is just how efficient their factories are. They have got the factories in place to scale, and that's important already, but that's going to become really, really important, especially when they start rolling out Optimus. And it's the same with Palantir. There aren't really many competitors that are doing it, but then there's especially not many that are doing it as well as Palantir are and are expanding as quickly, getting as many contracts, going more global. So these two companies are market leaders. And then the second place is not even close. Vertical integration is another reason I'm so bullish. Tesla is becoming one of the most vertically integrated companies, and as time goes on, they are having more and more control over their supply chain. They are bringing more of the procedures and the processes in-house. This means that they are less reliant on others. If there is a supply issue, they are less affected. And of course, it means they're spending less money. They have more control over the quality and the timelines as well. And they're users of their own products. Palantir uses its own software to solve their own problems. And then Tesla is able to use different parts of different products in other products. So for example, they can utilize their batteries across many of their different offerings. They are going to be able to utilize, and probably already have, what has been learnt for FSD into the bot. Neither one of these companies just offer one product or one service. Their business is actually quite vast. Tesla have, of course, their EVs, but not just one EV. They have many, many different types of vehicles, from their semi-truck to their Cybertruck to all their different cars that you see on the roads. Then they have their energy sector, their Powerwalls, their Megapacks. Then they have their Dojo, which is their supercomputer. They have their FSD, they have their bot, they have batteries. And then Palantir have not just their commercial side of the business, but they have their government side of the business as well, which is bringing in completely different clients. And they have different products to suit these areas of the business. So they have Foundry, they have artificial intelligence platform, they have Gotham, they have Apollo. Who knows what else they'll have in the future. And they are both operating in growing and expanding industries. So we know the EV industry is expanding and Tesla are taking market share of that, fine. But then we also have artificial intelligence. Palantir obviously is an artificial intelligence company, but I would argue that Tesla is very much becoming that way as well. Now, I'm sure I've missed stuff, so if you're bullish on either one of these companies, leave any other important things in the comments below. Is this a risky strategy? Well, if I'm betting that I'm going to be able to withdraw X amount of money by X date, then sure. It is risky because these are really volatile, high growth stocks. But do I think it's risky to concentrate my portfolio down into 2 stocks that I research a lot and I know a lot about and I'm strongly convicted into? No. I think there's a real difference between volatility and risk. So now on to my exit strategy. I would hope that a portion of my portfolio between Tesla, Palantir and my crypto holdings never get sold, and those become part of my generational wealth that I leave on to my children. But I probably will have to sell some of my portfolio in order to reach my goal of retiring early. So I'll either sell a little bit of it when prices go up one day when I'm ready to take that next step, or I might borrow against my shares. But I haven't really perfected this exit strategy too much yet, as I'm very much in the early stages, and right now I need to be concentrating on just accumulating as many shares as I possibly can. And of course I need to consider taxes and all those boring things too. If you want to chat to me one-to-one, there is a link in the description that allows you to book a 30-minute call where we can chat about your investment portfolio, we can chat about Tesla, Palantir, even how to start a YouTube channel. Whatever you fancy. I hope to speak to some of you guys soon. See you in the next video.